Hello again, everyone. Welcome back. We are continuing with our series in perspective drawing, and we are deep into three-point perspective. In this video, I'm going to get into three-point perspective grids. Okay. So first of all, I'll just do a rough outline just to explain the concept. So basically, and I'll try and draw small here. Basically, you have your horizon line, like so. You have your vanishing point 1. You have your vanishing point 2 right here. And of course, you have your third vanishing point up here, right? Third vanishing point. P3. Okay, so what needs to happen, what you need to do to get the grid is to basically draw a perpendicular line just after the vanishing point, the first vanishing point, and one right here. And then next, you subdivide each line into equidistant marks. And I'm just going to use a few. I'm not going to use a whole bunch. So let's say like that, like that. And however, whatever unit you use here and however you subdivide this, make sure you do the exact same thing here. Mine will be different because I'm just sort of doing it by eye. But if you're going to use this system, well, if you're going to create a grid, this is how to create it. You want these to be, if you want it to be a centimeter, let them all be a centimeter. If you want it to be an inch, let them all be an inch. And you know what? We can do a haphazard version of it too, right? Well, we'll see in a minute, but let's get the concept across. So what you want to do is, from vanishing point 1, connect to each of these marks. So basically you want to do something like that. I just do these real quick. They're not going to be perfect. I just want you to understand how to go about getting this done. Like that. Like that. Like that, and like that, and all the way down to the bottom too. I skipped one. I skipped 2 actually. There we go. And then you do the same thing from vanishing point 2 to the marks over here. Whoops, that's horrible. Like so. And even as rough as this is, you should already start to see something beginning to take form. You should already start to see the potential for three-point perspective objects being formed within this space. So you're dealing with the horizontal, so that automatically gives you, let's look at this right here. So we have the base of this box right here. I think I've seen other examples where lines are projected from the third vanishing point down here with a line here that has equidistant marks as well. I prefer to just deal with these two because you already have so many lines as it is right now. And I think it's just easier to just have these two, deal with the horizontals, and then when you have to deal with the verticals, once you've plotted where your base or the top of your box is going to be, you just come here, you just project those corners to your third vanishing point and complete your box as needed. And so here we have, you can follow this and get a height right here, which will take you here. And then one thing to be aware of, even when you plot this, sometimes you're going to hit an empty space. Let's say I come from here to here. You're not always going to get a line that's coming from here. It'll probably be an empty space. So if it's an empty space, just take that point, project it to vanishing point number 2, and complete your box as needed, and do the rest of the stuff you need to do to complete your box. Okay? So that's with the equidistant marks. I'm going to flip this over and do that same thing over again without the marks. And even though it's pretty haphazard, VP1, VP2. So let's say I just do something like that, just some random lines like that. The same thing here, like so. So even just like that, I can mark off some points, project those. Oh boy, doing a terrible job. Up like that. This is going to run into that, so I'm going to leave that alone. So we have our base here, bottom of our box, and then let's say, so just to reiterate the point I was making earlier, let's say I come here, I project that out, and let's say it ends up, say, right here instead of right here, right? Because these are even more haphazard than the other lines. Okay, there's nothing, no line represented here. Just put it in there. Just project. It doesn't mean your grid isn't working. In fact, it's working really well. It's just you're going to hit some empty spaces, and when you do, just put the line that belongs there. Just put it in there and complete your drawing. Okay, so let's say we have that. Let's say I want to go halfway within this grid here. So it has a lot of, there's a lot of versatility, there's a lot of flexibility with this grid system for 3-point perspective. And if I want that to be my height right there. Got that. Like that. Got that. And so on and so forth. Okay, so that's the rough idea right there. But that's pretty much the idea. Okay, so here's a haphazard, rough-handed way of doing it. Even though I'm doing it by hand, you can opt to really measure things out nice and neatly. And I've gone ahead and basically done this exact same thing here where everything's already measured out. So I'm going to go ahead and get those lines ruled and see if we can't, again, from vanishing point 1 to the marks on that side. I'm going to try and do them. Oh, you know what I meant to do? Here we go. That's a pencil mark. was supposed to do, the plan, is to use blue lines for vanishing point 1, like that. And this just serves as a solid guide to whatever 3-point perspective composition you're going to make. Even though it's a nice solid guide, you don't have to be super rigid about it. Again, there are going to be some objects and some content in here that you construct that will fall sort of outside in between the lines, and when that happens, you can just connect to the vanishing points as needed. So a good thing about this is that you can, like, if you have a project that you want to get done, you want it all in perspective, you can just plot out the vanishing points. You can plot out the grid, as intricately as you'd like on a separate sheet of paper, and then either with a light border tracing paper, just put it underneath and use it to help you put things together. I'm going to try and speed things up a little bit. You know what, that was a stray mark right there. I'll go ahead and rule it. Probably use it just like that. I feel like I'm running out of ink. There we go. Go. And then I'll flip it this way and use the orange. That way I'll know what lines belong to what vanishing point, belong to what side of the box. Oh, what a weird sound. Excuse me. All right, as I'm doing this, I'm looking at it, and your grids don't even have to be as fine, as closely aligned as this. They can be a little wider apart. Personally, I think having them a little wider apart will give you a little more flexibility. you need more lines, you can always just add them in there. But here's what we've got: a ruled version of this, and I'm gonna just pencil in. Sorry, some boxes. I'm bumping my camera again, so I can come. Wow. Yeah. Like that. And come here. That. Where's my ruler? A little ruler. So I have that. And that. And these can connect to each other. Like so. And then get my big ruler and connect to vanishing point. So already you can see how like dense these lines already look. So imagine if more lines were projected from here, from the vanishing point 3 into this space. It would be a little more confusing, and that's why I just like to leave the third vanishing point just open. I feel it gives me a lot more flexibility, a lot more room to breathe, so to speak. Those lines are running together. Anyway, I'll just project up to a point. They're still kind of separated, so I'm going to make it kind of a short box. Okay, and then I can pick, and then right away you can see where everything leads to, so that's a good thing about this. So I'll pick this one. That goes there. And here we've fallen on an empty space, so I'm just going to put that in there. And then from here to here, again, I've fallen on another empty space. And then this is, it falls there, so that lines up perfectly. That orange line. Okay, and there I have this box. All right, so there you have it. That's how you do a 3-point perspective grid. Go give it a try. Try it out. I'm sure you guys, a lot of you out there will have quite a bit of fun experimenting with this and coming up with some interesting compositions. What you can do, even though I don't use the top or bottom, the third vanishing point, I don't incorporate it, I leave it kind of empty. What you can do, what I'd like you guys to try is to do one side, one of these vanishing points, map these out against a third, against what you map out with a third vanishing point, and then leave the other vanishing point blank. So you can sort of get the same, a similar effect just by working with these lines from vanishing point number 1, and then creating some lines, creating a grid system from vanishing point 3, and then leaving vanishing point 2 empty, or working with vanishing point 2, leave vanishing point 1 empty, and then having lines from vanishing point 3. That works pretty well also. So give that a shot, see how it turns out, and leave some comments to let me know which one you like the best, or how this whole thing works for you. All right, this is the Visual Arts channel, Stractify, where I go over concepts and techniques related to drawing and composition at a foundational level. I hope this was helpful. I will see you in the next video where we continue to cover 3-point perspective. Take care.